I didn't come to Vietnam to be a hero. I came here to drive trucks. That was the plan, anyway. They told us in the rear that running convoys was support, not frontline stuff. Haul beans, bullets, and fuel from one base to another. Stay on the road. Listen to the radio. Don't hit the mines. You buy that lie until the first time somebody opens up on you from both sides of the highway. I was 20, from Ohio, and a .50 cal gunner on a deuce and a half. We called ours Betty. The truck, not the gun. The gun was just a 50 big, ugly, and the only thing that made me feel slightly less naked when we rolled out. That morning started like every convoy day. Too early, too much dust, too many guys pretending they weren't scared. We were staging outside a big base, engines idling, a snaking line of trucks loaded with crates, fuel drums, and stuff nobody bothered to tell us about. The air smelled like diesel, sweat, and the faint rot of the jungle just beyond the wire. Our convoy commander, a captain who spent more time yelling than listening, walked down the line with his clipboard.
"Same brief as yesterday, boys,"
he said at our truck.
"Stay closed up. Keep your intervals tight. Do not stop unless the truck in front of you stops. If we take fire, you keep moving unless the road is blocked or you're on fire. If you're on fire, put it out and then keep moving."
Good pep talk, my driver, Hawkins, muttered as the captain walked off. I was up on the ring mount already, checking the 50. The metal was warm from the sun, even though it was barely morning. I ran the belt through, made sure it fed clean, slapped the top cover shut. The thing looked prehistoric, chunky receiver, big barrel, iron sights older than my father. "Think they'll hit us today?" Hawkins asked. "They don't pay me to think," I said. "They pay me to make loud noises in the right direction." Truth, I had a bad feeling. You start to recognize certain patterns. The way the radio traffic sounds, how the officers talk, little things. That morning, the chatter on the convoy net was tighter, more clipped. Someone out there was more nervous than usual. We rolled out in a column, dust pluming behind us. A couple of gun jeeps and an M113 up front, then the soft-skinned trucks like ours, then more armored guys in the rear. The road snaked out of the base and into the green trees pressing close, fields broken by hedgerows and little villages. I liked the first 10 minutes of any convoy. Wind in my face, sun just high enough to warm my helmet. The illusion that this was just a road trip with bad music. Then you start noticing the other stuff. No kids by the roadside waving. No farmers in the paddies close to the highway. The usual old man who sat on a crate at a crossroads gone. I tapped the roof of the cab with my boot. "You see that?" I called down. "Yeah," Hawkins said. "Too quiet." We drove past a burned-out truck skeleton half in a ditch, frame twisted, blackened. It had been there a while. Someone had painted "Got Lucky" on the remaining side panel in white letters. You try not to look at it too long. The radio crackled.
"All stations, this is Red Lead.
The convoy commander's voice came over.
Maintain 10 to 15 meters. Stay alert. Reports of enemy activity in the AO last night."
Activity. What a soft word for guys who want you dead were just here. The terrain funneled us. On the left, a shallow ditch, then a rise covered in scrub and trees. On the right, a low paddy dike, then flat fields and a tree line beyond. Good fields of fire for anyone out there. Not much for us. I swept the right side with my eyes, then the left, then back again, looking for anything off. Fresh dirt, broken branches, a glint of metal. You never see the enemy the way you want. They don't stand up and wave. I was mid-scan when the world just snapped. No warning shot, no single crack. 1 second, it was engine noise and wind. The next, it was like the air itself turned to metal. The first RPG hit the second truck in front of us, right in the side of the bed. One moment, it was a big green box rolling along. The next, it was a ball of fire and flying pieces. The blast slapped my face. I ducked on reflex, then popped back up, hands tightening on the grips of the 50.
Contact front.
Someone screamed on the radio. Contact both sides. Rifles and machine guns opened up from the tree line on the right and the scrub on the left, staggered at first, then merging into one long ripping sound. Bullets snapped over our heads and pinged off metal. The truck right ahead of us jerked as its driver stomped the gas. Hawkins yelled something, but I couldn't hear him over the sudden roar. Training says, pick a side, pick a target, put fire on it. Panic says, spin in circles and shoot at everything. I chose training, mostly. I raked the right side tree line first. Tracers strobed out from my barrel, carving orange lines into the green. I aimed at muzzle flashes, darker shapes behind trunks. The recoil pounded through my arms, steady, familiar. Shell casings piled up by my boots, some bouncing into the cab. On the left, up the slope, I saw figures in black and green dashing between bushes, one with an RPG tube over his shoulder. I swung, led him a fraction, squeezed. He vanished behind a spray of dirt and leaves. Whether I hit him or scared him, I'll never know. I just know no rocket came from that spot. Keep us moving, I yelled down. No good. Hawkins shouted back. The truck in front is slowing. Roads choked with smoke. That deuce is burning. He was right. The truck ahead had nearly stopped, swerving around the wreck that had taken the RPG. Fire climbed up its side. The whole column was compressing. Bunching up, the worst thing that can happen in an ambush. Push him! I yelled. Use our truck. Get him moving or get around him. He cursed, slammed a horn, then nudged the bumper of the slowing truck. Metal banged on metal. Gradually, the guy ahead seemed to wake up and lurched forward again. An RPG screamed over us from the left, close enough that I felt the hiss. It hit somewhere behind. There was a boom and a brief flash in the side mirror. Then a column of dirty smoke. I didn't look back. Couldn't. My world was the arc of the gun, and whatever was at the end of it. At some point, a round hit the truck's windshield. Safety glass starred, but held. Hawkins flinched, then hunched lower over the wheel. You hit? I shouted. No, just keep shooting. Happy to. On the right, two figures popped up from a ditch, one kneeling, one standing. Both had rifles. I stitched a line between them. One dropped instantly. The other spun, tried to crawl, then disappeared as the truck rolled past. The M113 up front had wheeled slightly, its turret tracker hammering away at the left side, its coax chewing trees. Tracer from somewhere ahead tore into the burning truck, rounds cooking off in its bed.
Red lead. This is Red 7. Request immediate air Artie. We are in a kill zone.
Somebody yelled over the net, voice cracking.
Negative on Artie. Too close to the road.
Another voice snapped.
Gunships inbound, 4 mics out. Fight through.
4 minutes in a kill zone felt like 4 years. Somewhere deeper in the column, someone's M60 started singing, a lower, faster rhythm than my 50. I caught glimpses of guys firing from behind engine blocks, from beside wheels, some shooting over the sides of their beds like a moving fort. Then something hit our truck. Not a rocket more, like a giant sledgehammer into the side. The whole vehicle lurched. I nearly bit my tongue. I grabbed the rim of the mount to stay upright. Report, I shouted.
Left rear tire's gone,
Hawkins yelled. We're dragging, but we're still rolling. I could feel the drag Betty was limping, shimmying, but she kept moving. I loved that stupid truck in that moment more than I'd love some people. The ambush started to thin. Instead of everywhere, the fire concentrated in pockets, last-ditch bursts from guys trying to get us before we cleared their effective range. I saw 3 of them sprinting across a gap toward a drainage ditch, rifles slung. Habit said shoot them in the open. Instinct said they were done, breaking contact. I put a short burst in front of them anyway. One went down. The other two hit the dirt and crawled.
Leads breaking clear.
Came over the net.
All vehicles, push through. Do not stop on the objective.
Objective. Nice word for place they tried to kill you. I realized I was screaming as I fired, a raw, wordless noise. When the last muzzle flash faded from the trees and only our guns were gone, the noise turned into panting.
Cease fire. Cease fire if you're clear.
Crackled the radio. My finger hovered on the trigger, not ready to let go. Then I forced myself to lift it. The 50's barrel smoked in front of me, heat shimmer rippling off it. We rolled another kilometer before the convoy commander ordered a halt in a relatively open patch of road with fields on both sides. Security elements spilled out, taking up positions, weapons pointed back the way we'd come. I finally climbed down from the ring mount. My legs felt rubbery. My ears rang, even through the muffs. My hands left sweaty prints on the metal. I walked around the truck. The left rear duals were shredded, rubber hanging in strips. There were new holes in the bed, a groove along the side where something big had gouged it. Miraculously, the fuel tank was untouched. Behind us, I could see smoke still rising over the trees. Medics and volunteers scrambled back along the column with aid bags and stretchers. Some trucks had pulled off, half in ditches, hoods up, drivers gesturing wildly. One was just gone. All that remained was a black scar and twisted metal. We'd left that one behind. No choice. You learn to live with that kind of math, or you don't live long. An hour later, when the gunships were done making lazy orbits over the ambush site, and the engineers had checked for more mines, we doubled back under heavy guard. Up close, the spot where it had all gone down looked different than it had from the ring mount. Empty brass everywhere. Burned trucks still smoldering, metal warped. The bodies of some of the attackers lay where they'd fallen. Others dragged to the side by their buddies or the blast of the gunships. A few rifles, an RPG tube, sandals, bits of black cloth. We helped load our own dead into a truck bed that was suddenly very quiet. One of them was a driver I joked with that morning about coffee. His cap was still on, slightly crooked. That night, in the transient barracks, someone said, "You convoy guys just drive. You don't really see combat, right?" I didn't answer for a bit. I was still hearing the RPG hit, still feeling the truck lurch under me, still seeing that burning deuce and the guys who didn't get out. Finally, I said, "Yeah, we just drive." Truth is, that road felt more dangerous than some bases ever did. No cover, no way to dig in. Nowhere to go except forward or backward on a strip of asphalt everyone knew we had to use. The road didn't care who you were. Grunt, driver, gunner. It was just waiting. The day it decided to speak up, it spoke in rockets and machine gun fire. And the only reason I'm here talking about it is because our truck kept rolling and my finger didn't freeze on the trigger. That's the thing about convoys in that war. You weren't hunting anyone. You were the prey that had to keep moving.